Hey guys, welcome back to Release the Crafted. Priscilla here with a journal share for you guys today. Today I am so pleased to bring you this gigantic journal that I have made for my swap with Kim at Serene Bookworks. If you can't tell, the theme is The Labyrinth, which is my all-time favorite movie, you guys. So I was really stoked to do this. When Kim selected this to be our theme, I was like, you got it, this is my life, girl, like, I'm gonna bring it, and I feel like I kind of did. This took me a long time, but it was so much fun to do, really well worth it. As you can see, it's really chunky. I did not hold back in this one. So, let's get into it. For this journal is a 9 by 6 with a 3-inch spine, and, I made a charm to go with it. I'm gonna unhook that, which of course I can't do now that I'm filming, but you know, I could do it 1,000 times before. There we go. I'll put this to the side for just a second to show you guys this charm. This is the saddest thing that's ever happened to me. The bell fell off. It's okay. I will fix it. So there was a bell on this charm. So here it is. So this is a mask bead charm, I guess, that I got from AliExpress. It comes without the rhinestones in it, so I just set some rhinestones in with some glossy accents. I don't know if you guys are picking that up. And I added a little working hourglass and just made some dangles. I added this rose because it kind of reminded me of the dress that Sarah wears in the movie when she's in like the little dream bubble. Just that it was like the same color and shiny and stuff like that. And then I made this little locket with my favorite little goblin of all the little goblins. And Make a Wish I popped in there. That's not glued in, so Kim, if you want to change that, you can. And then I added some more little dangly charms. Played around with some wire wrapping. I obviously don't have a talent for it, but I wanted to add this little crystal ball piece in. So, because, you know, it goes with the theme with the movie with Jareth. And then this is actually another charm I got on AliExpress that matches the necklace that Jareth wears in the movie. And I added a little ring of keys. Keys show up a lot in this book, even though they're not really in the movie. It just kind of reminded me of what Hoggle wears, because he wears like a little chain belt with all sorts of doodads on it, and I'm guessing there's probably keys on it because he's the keeper of the labyrinth, you know, the groundskeeper. And then I added this little plastic bead charm because he collects little plasticky bracelet things and jewelry bits, and Sarah gave him her little plastic bracelet, and so I thought that was just a fun addition to that. So I'm going to set this aside. And for the cover, this is just a piece of red broadcloth that I got in the discount section at Hobby Lobby. And I tea stained it, and I beat it up, I distressed it, I stamped it with this crackle stamp from Blue Fern Studios with archival ink. I don't know if you can see, that's a scratch stamp from Blue Fern Studios. And I used Distress Oxides on that. And, I mean, pretty much any aging technique I could come up with, I did to the broadcloth. I left it outside, I'm not going to lie, when it was gross out, when it was raining, just to see if it would pick up some water stains, and it kind of did. You know, I inked over it. And I also used this Prima Art Alchemy wax in aged brass. That's any metallic sheen you see like this is this wax in the book. I love these waxes. I'm pretty sure you guys know I use them in every book, but I try to stick to just 1 or 2 colors per book so it doesn't get too crazy. So I did that. I really wanted to have this like old leathery book feel like this. This book kind of was to me like the journal that Sarah would carry through the labyrinth, maybe. I know she doesn't carry one in the movie, but this is what I was thinking when I was making it. So I wanted to do that, but I also wanted to use this piece of broadcloth. So I made this onto a piece of bookboard and used some tissue paper to give it this kind of wrinkly, leathery feel, and then colored it with some just some regular red acrylic paint. And then I also added some Distress Oxide in black soot and some archival ink in black. And then I also went over that with some Distress ink in ground espresso to just kind of get a bunch of different colors and pigments and stuff like that to add to the aged and worn look of it. These are just some chipboard letters that I got in the sticker section at Hobby Lobby. So I added those on, added the tissue paper over it so that it kind of matched the rest of the book, and then did the same thing. And I just rubbed all over it with that aged brass, added some brads, some little corner brads that I punched through the board. And this is some Stampendous Frontage in aged gold. It's got like a little bit of black in there. I don't know if you guys can see that. But I added that on there, and then there's some like embossing powder kind of slipped over here, so I heated that up too, and just kind of threw everything at it. The closure is just some really long pieces of seam binding that I used in 2 different colors. So there's like a kind of an off-white and a cream color that I wanted to just kind of represent Sarah's outfits during the movie. And I spent a lot of time rubbing it to kind of give it more of a frayed edge. And it folds all the way around the book, so you can see it's really, really long. And if you want to, Kim, you can trim those shorter and just tie them at the front. I just wanted to wrap them all the way around the book. So, I'm going to make sure I'm in frame, because this thing is huge. Like I said, this is my favorite movie, you guys, so I stuffed all my favorite things into it, and it's going to be really hard to let this guy go. But I'm going to, of course, because I know that Kim is making me something just as awesome. Also, I attached this little key charm onto the closure, too. Just as a side note. So, on the inside, it's just paper, some cardstock that I also embossed in 3 different colors, just to kind of, I don't know, give it a special feel. I was just playing around with my embossing powders at this point. And this book will lay flat, but I have, like I said, I packed it full of stuff, so this might get a little tricky as we go, but I'm going to try to show you guys everything in here. The paper I dyed with some of this wood stain, because I didn't want to go make a pot of coffee and coffee stain paper, so I just put some of this in a spray bottle with some water and sprayed a big old stack of paper. This is the color Espresso. I got this at Tuesday Morning, and it works really great. I really like the effect of the stain on the paper. So all the papers are like that. I also added a little bit of gold eyeshadow powder, like that shimmery powder that I got at the Dollar Tree. It's like mica powder, so I added that to the spray bottle. So I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but that's where some of the shininess on the paper is coming from. There, I see it now. And then I stamped this with this little cute stamp I got from a seller on Etsy, and then as soon as I stamped this page, I lost the stamp. So one day it'll turn up and I'll be able to use it again, but this is the only page with any stamping on it because I lost that stamp. But I do like this stamp. I think it's really cute. And I thought it was really good for the movie because, you know, there's all these arrows and stuff that kind of mislead you in the labyrinth. But on this page I just added some of the pictures of the toys in Sarah's room, because if you watch that scene again, there's a lot of little things that show up in the labyrinth that are in her bedroom already at the start of the movie. So I added those there. This is from the Labyrinth Museum. If you guys Google that, they have a lot of images from the movie there. And on this first page is just a piece of ephemera, I guess, a sheet that has, you know, the opening scene of the movie. And then on my Instagram, you guys will have seen these already. I made these paper clips. And I think I posted those maybe a month ago. So yeah, I've been working on this for a while. And I know that Kim's finished hers, so I hurried up today to finish it. And so I could film it and send it out to her. And then I used some of my cabinet cards from my cabinet card tutorial, and I'll link that down below if you guys haven't seen that yet. And I just added in photos from the characters from the movie, and they're all still open, so you know you can pull these pictures out, journal on the back of them. And there's just some paper there that I had some washi tape too. I used a lot of washi tape this time, and added a little gear charm. I really been wanting to do like a steampunk book, so I added a lot of little steampunky things just to kind of get that out of my system a bit, because it's not in my plans anytime soon. And then this is just an altered little craft bag that I added some images from the movie, I added Jareth, and then I added a rub-on, and I fussy cut this little piece of washi, and I used that Bronze Age wax through a stencil and then stamped on it, did all sorts of stuff. Added this cabinet card of Hoggle, so she can journal on the back of that. And added these, because those were the two things she sees at the beginning of the labyrinth, the fairy and Hoggle. These images came from an artist named Elia Petro. I got it from her DeviantArt page. And I'll link that down below. She has like a whole series, and I just took some of the ones that I like the best, and printed those out and shrunk them all down and inked them on here. So it's going to be really hard to read. I mean, if you had a magnifying glass, I'm pretty sure you could read it. But I just really like the effect that they gave to the cards. And they're just regular index cards that I also dyed with that wood stain with the spray bottle. Oh, on the back here, I stenciled using my Distress Oxides and a TCW stencil. There's some graph paper. And then this is some suede paper that I have. That I added because it kind of reminds me of some of the cloth, like the clothing that David Bowie was wearing in the movie. And then on the inside here, I added this piece of ephemera, which is a letter from Jim Henson to David Bowie about the script. So I thought that was a fun piece. And then on the top here, if you guys were on my Instagram, you saw where I had stamped all these, the whole saying that she says in the movie, and cut them all out. But this is what I did. I added them to tabs at the top of all the brown pages like this. And I just kind of stuck them all onto, I think this is a scrap piece of file folder I had, and rounded the edges. And then I also used some of this it's Prima Art Ingredients mica powder in Lilac Opal Magic. I got it like in a mixed media kit a long time ago, and it's really cool because it goes on clear, but it's got like this purple sheen to it. So I added that on top, and then I used a bunch of nail art bits that I have that I've gotten from AliExpress, and I just kind of tacked those on there to give them a little bit of embellishment. And you can see I did it here too. And so the whole saying is all on top of these pages throughout the whole book. So as you go, you can read that. This page was also on my Instagram. I feel like I'm going to say that a bunch of times. I made this cup. I drew the cup out, stamped it, and then I embossed it with some clear embossing powder to seal that all in, and then dropped in some more embossing powder to kind of float it in there. And this is just a piece of cardstock I got from like Happy Mail a long time ago, and I added a piece of ribbon to it. And then in here, I used a paper clip to hold this down, but it's just that seam with the caterpillar worm, I guess, and I stamped the back of it just to keep it from being a white space, but that folds up, and then you just lock it back down with that paper clip. And just a little piece of some handmade paper that I fussy cut out, a piece of Castle washi tape. I have a bunch of washi tapes that are like city themed, so I cut out the ones that reminded me of the Goblin King's castle and the Labyrinth and stuff like that, and added it to the book after cutting out little pieces. And this is a piece of silver tissue paper that I like the texture of, so I added that in there. And here's another piece of washi tape, and I added a little one of those clipping stickers from Tim Holtz, and then another index card with those little eyes that follow her around, and this sticker that says question everything, and a little belly band with this like super glittery mesh type ribbon, which I really like. There's a lot of glittery stuff in here because of course this is the Labyrinth and it was an 80s movie, so everything is in glitter. And then this is just some brick pattern cardstock that I added some Wink of Stella to. And then the way that Sarah gets into the labyrinth is she can't find the wall, but there's like an illusion, and so I tried to like recreate that with the wall, where there was an illusion here and they're just little pockets. And so I added these little index cards where I used a Versamark pen and embossed out things aren't always what they seem in the labyrinth, because they keep telling that to her. And that's what, that was the trick to getting into the labyrinth, was deciding that things aren't always what they seem. So those just tucked back behind there, and I hope that kind of translates. It's obvious in paper, but it wasn't obvious in the movie for her, so. And then there's just another little dangle charm I added here. And then another cabinet card, this one with Jareth. And I added some washi tape, fussy cut some pieces out for the background, and added I'm Kind of a Big Deal, which, you guys, I laughed about this for so long. It's so stupid. I don't even know what's wrong with me. But I have this rub-on, and I added it on here and was like, oh, that doesn't fit the theme. And then I just sat here and laughed. So there's some fun insider look into my creative process where I crack myself up. And so there's just some more paper to write on. I know that Kim writes in her journals, so I wanted to make sure she had lots of writing room. Here's another rub-on. This is a Seven Gypsies rub-on. And then I glittered up this piece of handmade paper with another Martha Stewart product. This is a glitter finish, and it's all inky. You guys, everything is inky in my craft space. But I also got this at Tuesday morning, and I bought it and was like, I'm never going to use this because I don't really like glitter that much, but I actually like this better than I like working with actual glitter, because, I mean, it gets everywhere still, but it's not nearly as annoying. But it does add a really cool glittery effect on things, and I thought that was neat. And so here's the back of that little doily page with this worm, the original troll, I'm going to call him, because he straight up told her to go the wrong way. And then on the back is a page from the Labyrinth. I think it's like the Labyrinth Dictionary, Encyclopedia or something. This also came from a Google image search. But it's a picture of David Bowie while he's singing Dance Magic. So I added that on the back here. And then here's just another piece of washi tape. And then here is a little envelope on the back of that suede paper with a key paper clip. And I fussy cut out these little goblins and added in that I wish. It's got a little owl for the owl in the movie. And then inside is just a picture of Jareth with Toby. If you guys don't know, Toby is the son of Brian Froud, one of the guy who drew all the artwork for the Labyrinth. And then you probably guys know him better from his fairy art books, but he used his son for this movie. And then on this page I washi taped in a flip out with Ralph and Jim, one of the gate guards, on that piece of paper that I used the stencil on. And then on the back I added Alf and Tim. They were the ones that gave Sarah the riddle, you know, where she had to choose which door was safe to go through. And so the riddle is on here. Like I said, you would need a magnifying glass to read it, but I mean, if you're determined, you can. And then on this page, I added in another tip out and a little tiny paper clip with the helping hands, because that's the pit that she falls into with the little hands. So that's in here. And that is the end of the first signature. There's 3 signatures in here altogether. I probably could have done 4 just to kind of reduce the bulk, but whatever. I added a lot of really chunky elements in here too. So here's another piece of washi tape. Here's this clock. If you notice, it has 13 hours, because that's how many hours he gives her in the Labyrinth. And I embossed this piece, and the paper in the back I embossed with some black embossing powder, but the whole clock spins just for fun. And then the hands also move, because there's one point where he speeds up the time on her, because she says the Labyrinth is too easy. So I just thought that was a fun little extra bit of interactive fun in there. And then this little card I got from Shayna in Journal Swap Happy Mail a while ago. So I added that in here because I thought it was appropriate. This pocket was also one that Shayna made in our first swap, and so I used it in here. I added some of that lilac mica powder, and then a rub-on and just some washi tape. And then I added some more of those helping hands images. And then I made a large tag for that pocket, and I foiled it, and I found this image on Pinterest, so I added that, and then a little charm onto it, and then she can write on the back. And there's some rub-ons that kind of snuck in there. There's some like dictionary paper vellum that I added in here. It's like a little scrap piece I had left. Just some more gears, because like I said, I want to make some steampunk stuff. And then there's this like rose pattern vellum paper that I got at Hobby Lobby. And I added a little clock hand charm to this piece of lace. And there's a top banner tuck spot with one of the little door knocker guards. And on this side is another index card with the door knockers on the back of that banner tuck. And it opens like a little book. So you can see both the little guys. And then it just tucks in back up here. And then here's some more washi tape and one side of an envelope that I added a picture from the ball scene onto and a tag that I made. I mostly made this tag just to show April what you could do with that 3D gloss gel. I sent her some in a Happy Mail, so I wanted to show her that you could do this kind of stuff with it. And so I made these tags and added that in here. And this is the page I previewed on my Instagram. I added Sarah and Jareth, and then I used my Wink of Stella pen to make them shiny. And then this is a little, like, craft bag that I got off of AliExpress. It has some stamping on it, and I added this image I got from Pinterest and some washi tape to kind of jazz it up. And then in the front is a large image, and in the back is a note card with the full ballroom scene. So I thought that was nice. And this whole book was kind of eclectic. I tried to keep it in a general color palette. I used a bunch of neutrals and some blues. But, you know, everything else kind of snuck in, too. It didn't stay completely neutral or blue as I went on. There's another charm. And then on this page, I made a little envelope out of this doily and tucked it into this ribbon. I have this Labyrinth ribbon. And I added a little piece of fussy cut washi tape. And inside here, trying not to tear it as I pull this out, is a larger image that has Jareth on it. Because we love David Bowie, so we added lots of pictures of him in this one. And I will fuss with that later. And then here's a large image of the Dance Magic opening scene with another one of the paper clips I made. And then here's a little picture of Ludo that was in her bedroom before, and then the big cabinet card with Ludo on it. And then here's the card with the nitrile, which is what Ludo is. If you could read this, it would tell you that sometimes they're nice and sometimes they're mean. Like our friend Ludo, he's a super sweetheart. So there's this paper clip to hold this little center section together, and then this folds out. And I was just kind of experimenting here. I wanted to try to make a large gatefold opening, I guess, and I mean it worked. And I just kind of stenciled the back sides of this cardstock, and the whole thing tips out. And then I tucked in the note card and the little picture of the wise man and his hat. And this one is also a little flippy book. And that comes all the way out like this. This paper is really busy, but I didn't know what else to put on it. So I just thought this would be like a fun insert for her to have. She could add pictures, or she could journal over the stenciling, or whatever she wanted to do. And now I can't close it. So there's that. And I thought that was fun. You can also tuck in little images behind these flaps if you wanted to. But that way, but it is a big, kind of bulky insert, so I did use this paper clip to keep it closed. But then on the back I also added this cabinet card of Sarah in her ball gown, which I thought was fine. And these are just little pieces of glitter paper that I punched out to add to the background just to decorate. Washi, and then this tag is a shaker tag with some Martha Stewart glitter, I think, and some sequins I had. And she can journal on the back here. Oh yeah, the doily element goes all the way through, and I just kind of like that look. There's this. This tag actually came from Shayna too. I think she stamped this out in a Happy Mail and sent it to me, so I used that in here. And then, I don't know if you guys can see this very well. It's a slide that I got from a thrift store. It's got like a castle in the background. And so I added a little charm to it onto this little clip. And then on the little tiny tag, it says the castle beyond the Goblin City. And that just clips back in. Right there. Ah, see, I knew it was holding something. So on this page is a scene from the book. Well, it's from the movie, but this page is from the book, where Hoggle gives her the peach that sends her to that, to the ballroom scene. And so this is kind of the opening scene of that. This is the other side of that envelope. And inside is a card, just another index card with that Labyrinth encyclopedia type paper. And then here is a little tuck that I used, this little piece of ephemera I have from a different paper pack. And I just painted the envelope with that glitter finish. And then this page I foiled with some holographic foil. And this is a piece of Brian Froud fairy artwork that has some little goblins in it that I added to this. And then these stickers came from Shayna just recently, so I popped those in there just to kind of jazz this page up. This is another stencil background with distress oxides, and the other side of that rose vellum paper. Just another little tiny paper clip holding in this piece of ephemera that I got, this image also from Pinterest. I have a huge Labyrinth board on there, so I just pulled all my favorite pictures and printed those up for this. So there's another piece of ephemera. Nope. There we go, losing the battle to the paperclip again. Okay, and then the other side of that dictionary vellum. And then this one is another, this is a paperclip I colored with some alcohol ink like forever and a day ago. And I just used that to hold this little card in there with the phony warnings. And then, I folded this page together. This is another one of my paper clips with a scene from the movie where Jerry threatens to turn Hoggle into the Prince of the Bog of Eternal Stench. This image I got from Pinterest again, added it to this little bag, and then I embossed over it. And I just added another piece of artwork that I thought was really pretty. I added a bunch of lace to the edge of the pages, but I didn't go like too crazy with the lace in this book. But I do know that Kim likes lacy stuff, so I wanted to add some of that in here. And then there's this tag inside of the page that I embossed over it a little bit too. Which is the tag of Sarah. I learned how to do this from watching Ava on Bohemian Crafting. It's in one of her lapbook videos, I don't know which one, but she kind of shows how to make this pocket inside of the page, so I wanted to replicate that here. And then on this paper, I used another one of those 7 Gypsy rub-ons. It says, "Take a walk on the wild side." And then I added the little wild things, the fiery guys. Images here, the one from her bedroom on this is the second sheet of suede paper. And then this corner pocket is from Shayna, and I used my Distress Oxides on that, and then sprayed it with some Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist in clear, and added in some more images of the little fiery guys, and their book, and I used my Wink Estella pen on these guys just to give them some more pop, because they're so fun. They're crazy, but fun. And I added some of that mesh glitter trim to the edge of the pocket. So she did the sewing in this one. I don't sew anything, but she made this pocket, so it came out really nice. And then there's another charm here, and another cabinet card with Jareth. And I added in like the 2 faces of David Bowie. This is him recording the songs for the soundtrack of the movie. And then here's him as the Goblin King. And I just made these tags with some standard tags, stamped them, sprayed them, embossed them, you know, all the good stuff. And those tuck into this page. And then this is a page from a vintage recipe book that April sent me. And I included it because there's a recipe for fresh peach ice cream. And a peach is what Hoggle gives to Sarah. So I wanted to add that in here. And, you know, she can journal on the back of it. And then here's another piece of that handmade paper that I used the glitter finish on. Some more castle images. This is actually like grease washi tape, but it just came out. It really matched this book really nicely. And then in here is a insert that I clipped in with a binder clip. I made it out of a single sheet of cardstock. And it folds out. It says small contributions. I added a little charm to the front. And then there's Toby, you know, the baby that we're looking for. And so I made this themed after the Dance Magic song. So there's all these lyrics in here. Here's a page of Brian Froud's Goblins. There's Toby. And then these little note cards have like the rest of the song lyrics in here for her to play around with and fold up. And this is all my own handwriting. It's kind of strange. I don't really like my handwriting, but I didn't know how else to do this in a manner that wouldn't take me 12 years to stamp out. So I just did it this way and used this cabinet card. I really like this cabinet card. I used that holographic embossing powder from Ranger, and it looks really great on black paper. And this is just a card that I gessoed the back of so she could write on. It's got a fairy on it, like the ones that Hoggle sprang in the beginning of the movie. So that just clips in there. And then on this side is the card for Sir Didymus and Ambrosius on this rose paper that matches that vellum. And then here's the other side of the envelope with another card from the same paper pack. And then another tag. And I really like this picture of Jennifer Connelly and David Bowie together. I thought it was really sweet. So I added that onto this tag. And then this is one of the final scenes of the movie where she's finally in the Goblin City with all of her friends. I don't know if you guys can see that. Here's a piece of like marble-y agate colored vellum paper. And then in the middle of this signature is an actual labyrinth that she can actually solve. I cut that out after I printed it up. And then this is my trademark tag, named courtesy of April. She helped me come up with the name for these, but I'm going to add these kind of big signature tags to all of my bigger journals. I did it for my Beetlejuice journal, where I made a Lydia tag like this. So in this one I made a Sarah tag. The video cut out, I was kind of expecting it to. But we're back. So here we go. So this is a piece of packaging from, I think, a Tim Holtz piece of packaging that I gessoed over. You can kind of still see the barcode and stuff there, but that doesn't really matter. I gessoed it. I added some of that Bronze Age to pick up the brush strokes and stuff from my gessoing. This is some more of that Sorry ribbon that I used for the closure. And then this is a Sarah that I drew using a Jane Davenport stamp, and then I drew out the rest of her and colored her in. I embossed the background, added some foil, so I gilded it a bit, and then stamped these out and added it here. There's some rub-ons back here. Just a bunch of stuff going on. I sprayed the background, stamped it. But I'm going to add one of these to every one of my big journals. And I just think it's going to be nice. So I'm going to call them my trademark tags. That's what it is. So Kim got a trademark tag with her journal, and it's got this paper clip that I think I got from Shayna. So, you know, if you guys aren't sick of hearing me say I got this from Shayna yet, just, you know, prepare yourself, because it's going to keep going. She sends fantastic happy mails with tons of stuff. And then here's a card that I made with that page for the Scavenging Goblin. And then it's called The Wide Tract of Rottenness. It's the junkyard that Sarah escapes from. But I made that into a little book style flip up. And then here's the other side of that blue vellum. And here's the image of Sarah when she's in the junkyard. And the little goblin is adding all that stuff onto her. And I added this little clipping sticker. And inside is a picture of David Bowie with that little goblin. And another note card that folds up with the Forbidden Forest inside. And steampunk stuff again. I could not resist, you guys. I had to add it to everything I could. That just tucks back into this envelope. And then here's a piece of the music sheet for the song As the World Falls Down by David Bowie. So I added that in here. It's facing the wrong way if you flip this over, but I wanted the title to stick out here. So I left it that way. It doesn't really bother me that much. Some more graph paper. And then this little pocket with a 7 Gypsies rub-on on it. On this like really shiny metal paper. Another clipping sticker. And then some more images of Sir Didymus. It's probably my second or third favorite character. I mean, Sarah and Jareth are right there on the top. But right after that, Sir Didymus for sure. And then here's a bogfly from the Bog of Eternal Stench. So add that to the background. And then here is the cabinet card. Now we're on the other side, so this is harder to see. With Sir Didymus. All these cabinet cards have been embossed. So that's what you're picking up here. It's not a rub-on or anything like that. Just a rough embossing on the edges. And then I added some stickers here. I figured Sir Didymus would have some inspirational things to say. And then here is another paper clip with this postcard I got from Kickstarter when I got the Skull Garden coloring book. So I added that in here. It's got the owl that's, you know, flying around in the movie. And I'm still not winning the battle with these paper clips. There we go. So there's that. You can color this in. And some more washi tape. Little picture of Jareth on the other side of this flip. Oh, this was stuck on the other side of that paper clip. Just a long scene from the ballroom scene with Jareth. Here is a paper clip that I got from that Hobby Lobby clearance. I had a piece of that glitter paper in there and a little sticker that says Dream. And then I just glossy accented it and stuck it on here. And it holds this little guy closed, and it's got the last, well, the last note card I put in was this one. It's not the last note card, but it's got one of the note cards in there. And then here's the other side of that recipe paper. And I made this little choke spot with these cards to make it kind of a fun game to figure out how to get those out. So I just made that with some strips of paper to hold those cards. And then in this bag, the bag just kind of reminded me of the outfit that Toby was wearing. And so I just embossed some keys onto it and stuck it on here with a little clip that I painted with some nail polish that Shayna sent me in her Happy Mail just to see what would happen. So it came out nice. You can't really see it, but it's kind of like a blue, greenish, glittery black color. It's really cute. So I added that in there, and this has just got some leftover pieces of like images and stuff that I wasn't able to fit into the book. So I just added those into this bag and left them here. And then this is the back side of that suede paper with this art image I got off of Pinterest. And then this is the very last page, and it's got this clip that I got from Michaels. And I made a tag that says, should you need us? And I used that mica powder through a stencil, so I don't know if you guys are picking that up, and stamped the background. And that's just what the whole gang says to her at the end. And I added a little sticker here at the bottom. And then in the very back of the book, I added a pocket with some of the other images I couldn't fit in here. I thought this was a really cool image. I'm going to try to move this over so you guys can see it better. This little band I got from Dolly in a Happy Mail, and I added a little piece of Sarah back here. This I got off of Etsy. I'll link the seller for this down below. It was also the same seller I got my Labyrinth ribbon from. They have a bunch of cool ribbons on there, but sometimes they have some resin pieces, so I picked up this one with the movie poster on it. And then in this pocket, this is actually a paper bag from my job that I just kind of put some tissue paper on and then altered. But in this pocket, I added a bookmark that I made by weaving all the little offcut pieces of this brown paper together. And then I stamped over it, and then I added some of that metallic paste on, stamped these out, and then these are just some little nail art stones that I added to the bottom with the quote on it. So there's a bookmark for you, Kim. And then this card, I was going to add it to a page, but it's really thick, so I didn't want it to bulk up the book more than it already has. But I got the tutorial for this off of Mamie Made It, so I will link that down below too. I really wanted to make this so fun, but it opens up and there's a little scene inside. So I hope that I can stand up so I can see. Picking that up. So I just thought that was really fun. I added Sarah and Jareth in there, and some stickers, and this embellishment, and some lace in there. I did some embossing, and I used that glitter paper. And so there's a card that Kim can put on display, or she can leave it in here, whatever she wants to do. But that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like up this video, comment, subscribe. Share it if you want to, and thank you guys. I will be posting another video pretty soon. We're going to have a giveaway, so look for that coming up sometime this week, if not tomorrow. And bye!